Welcome to Business Reporter's Best of British Business campaign. I'm Georgie Frost. What do patients expect from private healthcare practitioners? Ideally, empathy and attention, and a swift diagnosis followed by appropriate treatment. But most patients won't be aware of what goes on behind the scenes. Complex logistical and administrative tasks means dozens of hours are spent on back office work that might be better devoted to actual care. But technology could hold some of the answers in helping practitioners to focus on the one thing that really matters, the health of their patients. In this series, we'll be exploring the solutions with Healthcode, a provider of IT solutions for the private healthcare sector. In the last episode, we discussed e-practice. In this episode, we talked to Julia Suckling, Fiona Booth and Desney Marston about the role of data, its power to improve services, and the safe, responsible handling of it. Desney, is healthcare any different to any other sector when it comes to sharing data?
Funnily enough, it is, but it shouldn't be. The sharing of data is something that goes on in everybody's lives at the moment. Every time you open your phone, every time you log into an app, you are sharing your data. In the private healthcare sector in the UK, data has to be shared between practitioners and the insurers. They want to request and retain recognition, and with hospitals where they want to request and retain practicing privileges. So it isn't something new, but there's no central system where practitioners can easily upload their data the once, and everyone that they have a relationship with has access to that data. And that's where Healthcode come in.
Well, exactly what I'm going to ask you. So Fiona, tell me more about the Private Practice Register.
Well, yes, the Private Practice Register, or the PPR as we call it, is essentially the one-stop shop for all practice information that is required for, as Desney's mentioned, insurer recognition and also for hospital practicing privileges. Julia, I know you've had some experience with using the Private Practice Register when it comes to insurer recognition.
Sure, okay. So I've spent many years on the insurer side. I now work on the hospital side. Just to clarify, so doctors who want to treat patients who are insured will have to meet certain requirements. And I had a team of 6 or 7 who would individually look at all of the background of the doctors, look at the GMC, etc. And I guess in terms of working with Healthcode, there was a thought that there has to be a better way. Doctors going individually to each insurer, giving them all the same information over and over again made no sense whatsoever. And I think today there are 5 or 6 of the key insurers who use the PPR. There's still a couple of outliers, but it makes so much sense. And the doctors potentially like just going to one place. And also for the insurers, it's things around GMC, conditions, undertakings, etc. Anything that happens, we can be alerted to, rather than doing all of that manual individual work over and over and over. So
sort of it's the time-saving element for everybody, isn't it? I mean, uploading data or giving people the information that they want, ticking this box, filling in that form, it's really burdensome.
And ultimately, that time saved means there's more time spent with the patients.
Yeah.
yeah.
Admin is the bane of everybody's world, especially in healthcare, because there is so much admin that you have to do. So anything you can do to reduce that burden has to be a bonus.
And as Julia pointed out, Fiona, this is something that impacts practitioners, hospitals, insurers, especially from the insurance perspective. Talk to me from the hospital perspective.
I guess probably the biggest thing in terms of from the hospital perspective is that since 2019 there is the Medical Practitioners Assurance Framework, or MPAF, that has has been accepted by all private hospitals. It's also been accepted by our regulators, the CQC, Care Quality Commission. It is also something that any private hospital who wants to do work for the NHS needs to show that they are actually meeting this framework. And ultimately what Healthcode is doing is making sure the PPR supports hospitals in delivering the MPAF.
And which maybe we haven't mentioned, but private doctors in the UK will be recognised or will want to have practicing privileges at more than one hospital. It's quite common for them to be recognised by 2 or 3 hospitals for practicing for either outpatient consultations and surgeries. And therefore, again, going to one place as a one-touch practicing privileges, as well as it being sort of, the assurance and I guess from a regulatory perspective, it's, it qualifies, to a level. Different hospitals have different methodologies. They may not all want the same information. This makes it much more reassuring, I think, reassuring for all of us.
Yeah, and I think the framework's ultimate aim is to actually ensure consistency across all private hospitals, that this is being delivered. And in order to do that, why not have your single source of truth in one place?
Disney, I do have to ask you about security and privacy with all this sensitive data. Just talk to me about where the priority lies there.
All our systems, Healthcode, are built with security first. We do have the ISO 27001 credentialing. We also have the Cyber Essentials, and we go through a very rigorous annual audit with lots of on-site training and courses to be completed, just to make sure that each and every member of staff is aware of data protection implications, the GDPR. It is a fundamental concern, of course, of our business, because we are in the business of sensitive data sharing.
I do have to play devil's advocate though. I do have to ask you that, what if a patient doesn't want their details centralised? What if something happens to a centralised system? It's in one place.
So whilst we do hold details of patients on the invoices that go through our system, what we're talking about, the information held on the PPR, it's literally the practitioner's information. It's their information, they upload it, and it's information that they have to share with the hospitals and the insurers they have a relationship with anyway. But rather than doing it in paper format, rather than doing it by unsecure email, they can upload it into a very secure central depository, and all of the people that they have relationship with can safely and securely access that as and when required.
I think probably the key thing is the fact that actually it's about having accurate and up-to-date information. So those practitioners are uploading their information, and with their consent, it's going out to the hospitals, it's going out to the insurers. Now again, that just saves time, and it means the practitioners then have more time to work with patients.
Fiona Booth, Julia Suckling and Desney Marston.